She was 14 years old. She could not read, and she repeated 4 words that made a theologian's hand shake. You're listening to The Pilgrim's Lantern, true stories from the history of the Catholic faith, told slowly for the hours before sleep. Make yourself comfortable. Tonight's story begins in southern France in the year 1858. Lourdes was a small market town at the foot of the Pyrenees, the kind of place where winters were long and cold, where the Gave River moved gray and quick through the valley, and where a family named Soubirous lived in a single room that had once been a jail cell. François Soubirous was a miller who had lost his mill. His wife Louise took in washing when there was work. They had 4 children. The oldest was a girl named Bernadette, 14 years old, small for her age, still unable to read or write, and suffering from asthma so severe that some winters she could barely breathe. On the morning of February 11th, 1858, Bernadette went with her sister Toinette and a friend to gather firewood near a rocky grotto called Massabielle at the edge of the Gave River. Her sister and the friend waded across the cold water to reach the firewood. Bernadette stayed behind. Her asthma made her afraid of the cold. While she was removing her shoes, she heard something. Not a voice exactly, a sound like wind, but the trees were still. She looked up at the grotto. In the hollow of the rock, above a wild rosebush, there was light. The light took shape, or seemed to. A young woman dressed in white with a blue sash, yellow roses at her feet, and a rosary over her arm. She looked at Bernadette. Bernadette was frightened. She reached into her pocket for her own rosary and tried to make the sign of the cross. Her hand would not move. The woman in the grotto made the sign of the cross herself. Bernadette's hand moved again. She prayed. The woman smiled. Then she was gone. Bernadette told no one except her sister, and her sister told their mother. Their mother was not pleased. She told Bernadette to stop speaking about things she hadn't seen, and that if she went back to that grotto, she would be whipped. Bernadette went back, and the woman appeared again. Over the following weeks, Bernadette returned again and again. The woman spoke to her, gently, unhurriedly, like someone with all the time in the world. She asked Bernadette to come every day for 15 days. She asked for prayers for sinners. She asked for a chapel to be built. Word spread through Lourdes. First dozens, then hundreds followed Bernadette to the grotto, but only Bernadette could see anything. The others watched a young girl fall to her knees, stare at empty rock, and sometimes weep. The town was divided. The police were called. The local police commissioner summoned Bernadette to his office. He questioned her for hours. He threatened her. He told her that if she kept spreading these stories, he would have her locked up. He offered her money to stop. She was polite, calm, and said she would continue going to the grotto. The town's priests were equally skeptical. One told her the apparition was likely a trick of the devil. Another told her to ask the woman her name. On March 25th, the feast of the Annunciation, Bernadette asked. The woman smiled, joined her hands together as if in prayer, raised her eyes to heaven, and said, in the local dialect of Lourdes, "Que soy era Immaculate Conception." I am the Immaculate Conception. Bernadette had no idea what those words meant. She had never studied theology. She did not know that 4 years earlier, Pope Pius IX had defined the Immaculate Conception as a dogma of the Church, the teaching that Mary was conceived without original sin. No one had explained this to her. She ran all the way to the priest's house, repeating the words out loud so she wouldn't forget them. When she arrived, she said them to him exactly as she had heard them. The priest's hands were shaking. He recognized the significance immediately. This was not a phrase a 14-year-old girl in Lourdes would know. It was not the way a 14-year-old girl would speak. Earlier, during one of her visits, the woman had asked Bernadette to dig in the dirt at the base of the grotto. The crowd watching thought she had gone mad. She was on her knees, scraping at the ground with her fingers, bringing up muddy water and rubbing it on her face. But within days, water began to flow from that spot, clean and clear from a spring that had not been there before. Within months, reports of healings began arriving. People who came on crutches walked away without them. A stonemason named Louis Bourriette, blind in one eye for 20 years, washed his eye in the water and his sight returned. The church investigated carefully. It always does. 18 miraculous cures were eventually recognized. Today, the spring still flows. Lourdes is the most visited pilgrimage site in the world, with over 6 million visitors each year. Bernadette herself never drank the water, never bathed in it, never asked for healing for her asthma, which continued to torment her all her life. Someone asked her why. "The water is not for me," she said. In 1866, at the age of 22, Bernadette entered a convent in Nevers, 300 miles from Lourdes. She would never return to the grotto. She lived as a nun for 13 years, suffering from tuberculosis of the knee, a condition so painful she could barely kneel. She asked for no special treatment. She performed the smallest tasks the convent would give her, tending the sick, sweeping floors. When someone praised her for what she had seen at the grotto, she would say, "The Virgin used me like a broom. When the work is done, a broom is put behind the door." She died on April 16, 1879. She was 35 years old. When her body was exhumed 30 years later, and again 46 years after her death, it was found incorrupt, unchanged, as if she had just died. Her body lies in a glass case in the chapel of the convent in Nevers today. She was canonized in 1933. Her feast day is April 16th, and the grotto at Massabielle still stands, and the spring still flows, and every evening at Lourdes, thousands of pilgrims walk in candlelit procession through the dark, carrying the same